Hey you guys, this is Rafael from Shiloh Hope you're all doing well. Things are good here. I'm thankful to be with you guys again today. A couple of videos back, we talked about a Confederate Cavalry Officer Spur with the letter CS on it. Had a couple of people say, well, did the Union have a spur designed similar to that? They did, but actually they're a lot more scarce. They're one of the most scarce one of the most scarce spurs that you encounter from the Civil War time frame. They are a lot more ornate than the Southern spur, but a lot tougher to find. They have, instead of having just the simple CS letters and a single star on the back, they're like this. Right below the rowel, which are the spur neck, that contains the rowel, and that's the little piece on the end that actually hits the horse to make it go. The neck is called a spur neck, and at the base of that neck, often referred to as a rooster neck, is the US letters and one large star. Flanking each side of that large star, they have 6 on each side going down the leg of the spur. So a total of 13 stars. And the US. The US is smaller compared to the CS. See how they look side by side? So they're a lot more detailed, a lot more ornate, a lot tougher to find. I've had probably 100 of the Confederate spurs over the years. I've had less than 10 of these. And this is the only, to the best of my knowledge, this is the only matched pair originally matched together, left the factory together, in my opinion, spurs with the US and the stars. Tough one to find. And the stars are really cool. And the reason they didn't make a ton of these is because you are making a sand mold. And yes, you heard me correct. They actually made the mold into sand. And would pour the molten brass into the sand mold. They were actually poured completely flat. The legs weren't curved like you see them here. They were flat, and they hand hammered them down into the shape that we recognize as a spur today. So when you're making that sand mold, you have to make each one of those stars. You have to make the U, you have to make the S, you have to do all of that detail work, which was possible, as is evident here, but it wasn't easy. So they didn't, unless you had a lot of money to get them, they didn't waste that extra time making them. They're really tough to find. Most of the ones you do see are in excavated condition. I've had a couple of them excavated over the years, and I remember when I was just getting started, I got Stanley Phillips's book on excavated artifacts. If you get a chance, still a great book, because back then, the book was probably done 60s or 70s. They dug all of these cool artifacts out of campsites, and he was one of the first guys to put everything that he could find in a book and to use as a reference book. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. We appreciate everything you did. But on the cover of one of those books was one of these spurs. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you are a low-rent YouTube recorder and you're using your iPhone and it rings while you're in mid-sentence. I believe I was saying thank you to Stanley Phillips, but on the cover of one of his books on excavated artifacts, they had one of these spurs pictured in it. A few years ago, I was at a show in Richmond, and a friend of mine, Dennis Cox, walks in and he has a spur, and it's one of these, and I'm like, man, that is so pretty. He says, yeah, that's the one that was on the cover of the book. So I got a chance to actually buy the one that's on the cover of the book. Wish I'd have kept it, but I got 4 daughters and a grandson. I will never be able to keep anything in my life except them, and I'm thankful for that. But I had to sell it. I got these the other day out of a collection in Middle Tennessee. I've known about them for years, and I really wanted them. Got a chance to get them. I just sold them this morning, so you can't own these, but hopefully you'll come across one of these days. If you come across one, you've got to be careful, because 90% of the ones that you see are fake. The ones that you see that are fake, almost all of them are wax cast. We talked about this on a couple of the videos on Confederate buckles. You've got to be careful of pieces that were supposed to be sand cast. The modern ones, they do a wax cast because you don't have to do all that detail work. You take a mold of this spur and make it from that. The way you can tell if it's actually sand cast, you can imagine they're making something in a sand cast mold. When they get done and it cools and they take it out, there's going to be rough edges. They had to do something about those rough edges, especially on the strap loop, because it would eat through the leather quickly, the rough edge, and tear it. So they had to take actually a hand file and file down all those rough edges and finish it. You will see on the originals, there should be some filing on them. Usually you can see it. I've had a few over the years that you just couldn't, but you never see on a wax cast one of the modern made ones, you'll be able to see those file marks, but there will be debris in the file marks because they're making that extra cast from it, and it takes away that detail work. You just don't have that extra hand finishing. They'll be blurry. The letters won't be as clear. And they're just not as good a quality. And I know it's it's an easy thing to say, but it's a hard thing to tell until you look at them side by side. Some of the best educations you can ever get is looking at reproduction things beside an original one, because you can see those little detail works, and it's kind of like made me really good at those pictures where it's like two pictures that look similar, but what are the differences? Because I can see those because I'm used to looking for little details on things. One of my stupid human tricks that I can do, I can tell differences on things. So be careful because they're not cheap. The reproductions usually aren't cheap because they think they're going to steal your money. So you be careful, know who you get it from. If that person will not put in writing that it is original, you should not buy it if it's a lot of money. Because if it's supposed to be original today, it's supposed to be original tomorrow. So don't let them steal your money. Buy from somebody that will guarantee it. Anything you buy from us, I will be glad to put a letter of authenticity with. I hope that it's over $100 because time-wise, it is just me here. And as I file my taxes, I am the owner/janitor. I do everything here. So I try to save time, only on over $100, but I'm always glad to. I guarantee anything I sell because I never want you to worry when you have a piece in your collection when you get it from me, because I appreciate you. I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope everybody's healthy. My neighborhood has had the COVID hit. A lot of people have had it. Fortunately, everybody has recovered. So maybe that's a sign that things are going to get better. And so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I hope you guys know that you're cared about. I hope when you get that opportunity that you are kind to others, because that act of kindness that you might give to somebody might be the only act of kindness that they see all day. So be that positive influence. Don't let it pass you by, because you got to take every chance you get. Be kind to those people. I hope you have a great day. I love you, and I'll catch you next time.